What if I told you that next year the PS4 turns 10 years old? Don't believe me? Look it up. And what's almost crazier is that the Slim variant is almost 7 years old. Way to make people feel old, eh? But given that the console landscape has changed so much in that time, and of course Sony has released its latest and greatest PlayStation 5, is the PS4 completely obsolete? Or is it actually a fantastic bargain on the used market? Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas and this is my review of the PS4 Slim in 2022. I want to first mention price because I think, spoiler alert, that this is one of the best deals in gaming right now. You can pick up one of these on eBay for £150 console only, or in a bundle with some games for £200, and that will give you a controller, a 1TB console, and usually 3 to 5 games. That is obscene value for money. I picked up this console about a year ago for £170. That is the 1TB model. It didn't come with a controller, but it did come with 3 games. That is a bundle that you could pay a little bit less for these days, now that the PS5's been out for a little bit longer. And it will be easier to get one with a controller. People often ask where I buy used kit from, like slightly older stuff, like eBay. Like, do you not have eBay in your country? I mean, you might not have eBay in your country, but eBay over here is, as long as you know what you're looking for, you won't get scammed. I have not been scammed on eBay. I can't even remember, I don't think I've ever been scammed properly on eBay. I've had stuff come that's not as described, and as long as you give an accurate account of yourself and an account of the product, then you tend to get a little bit of money back. eBay mostly sides with the buyer. As an eBay seller, I know that all too well. But eBay's a good site as long as you're not a dingbat. Anyway, I digress. Onto the console itself. It's held up pretty well design-wise, I feel. The Slim is noticeably smaller than the original, and even more so than the Pro. The combination of the size and the integrated power supply make this thing an easy fit for most setups. You've got a decent array of ports, but nothing spectacular. 2 USBs on the front, HDMI out, figure of 8 in, PSI connector, and thankfully Ethernet. It's a shame there's no optical audio, but I run mine into my AVR anyway. And no, this isn't a mug stain. I bought the console like this. I have no idea what that could be. It is actually marked on the console. I honestly don't know. But we can't go any further into this video without talking about the now legendary Dualshock 4. This is one of my favourite controllers of all time, up there with the Xbox 360 pad for sure. It's ergonomic, it's comfortable, it's great size, and looks the part too. This is such a good controller. The only issue I have with it is that it doesn't use USB-C, and that's fine because at the time micro USB was the main thing, and you can see the logical progression from the DualShock 3 up to the DualShock 5 or DualSense 5. You've got the mini USB, micro USB, and USB Type-C. So it's not the end of the world, but it would maybe make it the GOAT if it had USB-C in my opinion. The DualShock 4 has a touchpad on the top and motion sensing too, on top of fantastic triggers and superb button placement. Oh, and you can output your game audio through your DualShock 4 too. This is game changing if you don't want to wake anyone up whilst you game into the night, and you can use it on PC as well if you choose to. It's just a great all-round pad. Game selection is up there, it's really good. It's not quite as good as say PS2 era, maybe not as good as PS3 era, but it's still up there. Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, God of War, Persona 5, Resident Evil 2, the list goes on. And I have to admit, I'm not much of a single player guy. So my favourites on the system were Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare 2019 and Cold War, with Gran Turismo Sport scratching my racing itch. If you want to experience the best versions of these games, then you'll have to go with the PS4 Pro. However, that is considerably more expensive, it's also a lot bigger, and the earlier models are quite a bit louder. Of course, they did revise the fan going into the later generations of it, so you have to be careful which one you buy. However, I feel the Slim is just a different kind of console. The Slim does do well for 1080p gaming. Not all the games will run flawlessly. I found that the newer CODs and weirdly the menus of FIFA 22 struggled, but the gameplay was fine. I don't know what's going on there. But it's far from unusable, and unless you're used to sort of RTX 3090 gaming PCs, then you're not going to be too disappointed with this. It's definitely not the latest and greatest. I mean, it is 7 years old at this point, but it's giving you, I would say, good enough gaming performance that you, as long as you're not into crazy graphics, you're really going to have a good time. The menus are a mixed bag, some love them and some hate them. I happen to really enjoy the layout of the PS4's home screen, and whilst it isn't as intuitive as the XMB from the PS3 in my opinion, it's still easy enough to find your way through the menus, and I like the preview screens for each game and app. All I'll say is that some of the menus can be a little bit laggy, with sort of the store being the biggest issue here. It's not unusable again, but it's just not great. Sony's PS Plus is required to play online, and this ranges between £30 to £50 a year depending on where you source your PS Plus subscription from. They also do it in 3-monthly sort of payments. You can also do it in monthly as well. This gives you a couple of games every month for free if you want them, although they're generally not amazing. Like back when I had my first PS4 years and years ago, you got Rocket League, which I think is a pretty cool thing given that Rocket League was not free back then. But these days I just don't really sort of get on with any of the games on there. But that's fine because I really never was expecting to. You use the PS Plus, or I use the PS Plus to play online games, and I am more of an online game kind of person than the single player, like I said before. So sort of Modern Warfare online, or playing Warzone, for example, if you're into that, Apex Legends. There are a few games that are free, and so you don't have to go out and buy games if you want to get started. As long as you've got a PS Plus subscription, you can play stuff like Apex, Warzone, Fortnite. They're all free on the store, and you can get started. My console is fairly quiet when gaming. It is not particularly loud, though it is audible. If you're using headphones or a good set of speakers, you might not notice it. It's sort of a low hum as opposed to a high-pitched noise, and you can clean out the fans and repaste the GPU and CPU if you want to give you a little bit more thermal headroom and to give you a little bit of a quieter system overall. However, I never found it to be big enough of an issue to do that. Like my first gen PS4 Pro, I had an early version of one of those which had a really, really loud fan that you couldn't really swap in. You had to just get the later generation. This doesn't seem to have the same issues as the Pro. And actually, it gets loudest, I found, when downloading games. So I don't know if any of you, if you've got a Slim, do you have the same kind of thing where when it's downloading a game, it seems to be louder than when it's actually playing it? And I don't mean from the disc either, I mean over the network. I don't know. So, the PS4 Slim, £150 to £200 of gaming goodness. Is it worth it? Well, I would say if you've not got this generation of consoles, it's a great buy. Now, some might find the Xbox One to be better, but it really does depend on which controller you prefer and also which exclusives you prefer. I'm massively into Crash Bandicoot and Gran Turismo. I really like those series, those titles, and so I would prefer the PlayStation 4, although of course Crash Bandicoot is now on other consoles. But if you're really into the Forza games, for example, you might prefer the Xbox. And of course they are slightly different shapes, different sizes. The controllers are different too. I happen to really like the Xbox One controller, maybe not quite as much as the PS4 controller, but it's definitely up there. And the prices of those are coming down as well. The PS4 Slim is a great console if you've not got much and you want to just try some games. It's a great games console with plenty of good titles, now on the used market, of course cheaper as well. As long as you're sensible about where you buy your used stuff, you can get some great deals and I highly recommend them. So with that, I want to conclude today's video, guys. Please do leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new around here to never miss a video like this one. Check out all my social medias in the links in the video description, and I want to give a massive shout out to my patrons as well for being continually supportive. As always, I've been Ryan Thomas, and I'll catch you later. Peace.